Yeah, but do give me a moment so I can just send a few links out.
Yeah, I've just got it.
So we've got one viewer, which is good. So welcome to everybody tuning in for FP round to Brazil. This should be an absolute cracker. Hulk, have you got any words to say while I just distribute a few links out?
Yeah, it should be an exciting race. Last time out, I think it was Ugi came home in second, was it? I can't remember who won.
I think he won the race, and
yeah, he won. Yeah. Oh yeah, he did the one stop on the super sauce, didn't he?
Yeah, and then Kurtois was on the podium with him as well, with another person, I believe was Haig, who came home with damage, which was a shame.
Right in the foot. Yep. So yeah, so we're here at Brazil, which is provided a fun race yesterday in the F1 division. Here in FP for a little bit different. We still got a lot of drivers who were there yesterday, like the VMS, Ash Best, Big C, who we'll be speaking to in a moment. Yeah, walk all down the Haas. So yeah, should be a fun race today.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. And one person who's looking to have a good race, one of the most legendary names you'll ever find on the PlayStation GL website, eSports semi-finalists, 7-time PSGL F1 champion, 40-time race winner. God knows how many podiums he's had, but he's definitely one of the hottest properties around on the PSGL site, and he is taken to the stands here in Formula Performance, and it's none other than Big C 019.
Thank you.
Jack.
Very kind words.
Yeah, I don't know why I said Jack, but Hulk, do you have any questions for Big C? Because I know you've not raced him too many times, have you, over the course of your career?
I'm not sure if I've raced him at all, to be honest with you.
I don't remember.
No,
we tend to do the battling on the forum, and
yeah, but that's only in Battleground, so I believe. But yeah, no, you had a bit of a quiet race yesterday in F1. You only, I think you ended up in 10th in the end, so you're hoping for a bit of a better result today.
Yeah, well, I hope so. I mean, obviously, it's a different grid. Everyone's obviously in different cars, but no, obviously, yeah, I didn't really have any practice, so I was working all week, so yeah, I just turned the game on, at 5 to, did about 5-10 minutes of practice. But no, the pace was alright, I think, because it was quite an easy track, so yeah, there's a lot of fast drivers, a lot of new drivers, a lot of not raced for a long time, McPhee, Mr. Grumpy, those sorts of guys. I look forward to racing those. But yeah, I mean, I expect to finish car in 10th, so yeah, some good points today, and hopefully some good battles. That's why I've joined.
Yeah, and Big C, you've had a downturn in form over past seasons. We can't shy away from it. We've got to get it out here in the open. Do you feel your days are numbered of racing at the top?
I don't know. Obviously, I think you get to a stage in life where you can't commit the time to leave racing. I'm away a lot with work, and obviously some people, when you're a bit younger, you can just play the game every day or do commit and have the energy, but also the desire. You can have the desire, but deep down is the determination still there, and maybe it isn't. So and that's why I probably lack a little bit of time. But I'm still fighting. I'm still enjoying. So that's why I joined FP. Some top talents, some drivers I've not raced before. JP, people like that. Good race duo, Joel. Bit of cloudy balloons as well. Big names in the league. So yeah, maybe the form isn't quite what it was, but I still can fight and hopefully can win a few races.
No, and do you think you've got a shot at winning today around this legendary circuit in Sao Paulo? I know qualifying starting in less than 30 seconds, but do get a word or two in.
Well, I think anything's possible in FB. I think we saw last season I think I commentated, not I commentated. There was punctures and all sorts. Strategy, a bit of rain in the mix. You know, all sorts can happen. You know, we've got a good size grid, so you know, anything's possible. But you know, I'm not one of the favourites. A lot of faster drivers in the league. You know, Ash, AMS, Ugi, Wako have all done a lot more practice than me. So if I get P6 or something, then I'll be quite happy.
No, well, I wish you all the best, Big C. Enjoy qualifying, enjoy the race. This might be your moment in the sun.
Thank you very much. Shunga.
Alright, see you later. So that was the voice of Big C, F1 Racing, the 7-time champion on the PSGL site. So thanks to all of our viewers tuning in today alongside me in the commentary box. It is Hulkenberger. He is, I believe, tied up with some stuff in the background. I know he's got food in the oven, so he will be back for the race. So pole position times, I'm not sure what we're expecting. I'm assuming something in the 110s, which it was last season. I think we did get a 109.9 from McPhee in the Ferrari last season out, but we've got a lot of talent on the grid. A lot of drivers enjoy racing in the Formula Performance League. Look at that talent from all across the grid, so it's going to be an exciting race. So I'll see if I can take you guys down a run of who's in what car for today's race. So do bear with me one moment. And I wonder what conditions we're going to get here today. Is it going to be wet? Is it going to be sunny? Just waiting for the screen to pop up. And oh, it is absolutely chucking it down here. Look at that. Full wet conditions. And my God, they don't look pretty to drive in. So there should be quite an exciting qualifying session. Mixed conditions can obviously give us a mixed grid as well. So be interesting to see what happens. So just in terms of the car allocation process, it's the same as last week. We've got JP Greenwood and Joe Finn who are in the Mercedes. We've got Warren Haig and Dino in the Ferrari. Mr. Grumpy and Curtois in the Red Bull. I don't know if Curtois is here. Yes, he is. In the Force India, it'll be Flying Throne and Chicken O. So uncle and nephew linking up tonight. I don't think Chicken is on the grid today. In the Williams, it's Jolie Anamani, one of the most experienced drivers you will ever find. He's joined by McPhee. Renault, it's CC Brain and Big C. In the Toro Rosso, AMS and Ugi. In the Haas, Greeny and Wako. And in the McLaren, Ashbest and Jack Lacey. So Ashbest we're on board with at the moment. He always gets the airtime because he leaves the garage first. And look at that, conditions are intermediate conditions. And Hulk, mate, what were you expecting
sorry about
today?
that. Well, I didn't expect us to be in qualifying. I have to admit that was a bit of a surprise to us, but I'm expecting quite a close race. Obviously in the middle sector, the McLaren, I should be quite strong through there, but then you might struggle a bit on the very long pit straight. What point you might see other cars like maybe the Haas drivers or even the Force India drivers doing it a bit better. So I'm expecting quite an interesting technical battle where Ash tries to pull away in the middle sector and then gets close up in the final part of the lap.
No, I agree with you. I think it's going to be an interesting qualifying session, and there is quite a lot of experienced drivers on the grid while we ride on board of Ash Best. So Mr. Grumpy, obviously one of the most experienced drivers you will ever see. So it's a request from Fraggle Paul in the chat to have a rundown the most experienced drivers, and Mr. Grumpy, the most experienced you'll ever see. Joel, obviously another experienced name. McPhee as well, and what about the 7-time champion Big C, also quite experienced. And you can't forget about the likes of Haig, Ugi Azim, AMS as well. So it's a really mixed grid with youth and experience, and obviously novice amateurs, and they're all going to be coming together here today, and it'll be interesting to see how the grid lines up in these conditions. So Ash Best, he's on a pretty decent lap. It's a good car to be in, isn't it, Hulk?
It is, especially through the middle sector, as I mentioned earlier. you obviously won't be setting the times you set yesterday, especially in the wet. But I think the wet will play to the McLaren's strengths through the corners, and it'll also help limit the damage that it does on the straights. So we'll see what lap time he does as he's right across the line now. So 1:20.2. I have no idea about wet times at the moment, so we're gonna have to wait and see how representative that is. But it's 5 tenths faster than Woggle went in the Haas, so it looks like a very decent lap for Marsh Best there.
Yes, decent lap. And who else is out on decent lap? No, Kurt Orris in the Red Bull. He often can run well in these conditions. He was in the running to challenge for the F4 title last season, and yeah, he bottled it in these conditions. So, I mean, they can work for him, they can work against us. They've got drivers running to the line. Haig on pole position. That's a very good lap time in the Ferrari. Can Kurt always stick it up there? He does. He goes P3. That's a pretty decent lap time. And I don't know who else is out there. I know Jolian and Manu is coming along in the Williams, current PSGL F1 driver. Rumours that this could be his last season in league racing as he looks to move on with his life. What can he do here? Goes 10th. He hasn't touched the game for 3 or 4 weeks.
No, I can't imagine that the Williams feels particularly fun to drive in the wet either. Doesn't really have very much downforce at all. So probably not the best car to be in these conditions.
No, and Jack Lacey's gone third as well, so lap times are tumbling down. A lot of people would have fueled their car up here, wouldn't they, Hulk?
Yeah,
none other than
obviously, yeah, I don't know how many of them will done a lot of wet practice, so they might just. Also, the tyres obviously don't wear quite as quickly, so they might just fill the car up and decide to just keep doing laps, get more comfortable with conditions, and improve lap after lap. So we might see basically cars out there for maybe the entire session.
Yeah, and we'd just like to send our apologies to Frizzo Stolp. We got his name wrong. It wasn't Fraggle Paul. I mean, there's too many people flying Throne, Fraggle, Frizzo. You just get confused. It's all FRs. But Oogie Azim, what can he do as Warren Haig improves his lap time? Big C's up to second, and Cloudy Balloons up to third, and Oogie pits.
Yeah, it's Cloudy Balloons' first ever PSGL race, I believe, in the Force Indy there. That's a nice lap time from him. I mean, he's a complete unknown entity. Nobody knows how fast he is, so it'll be very interesting to watch him through this race.
No, I agree with you. Jack Lacey here, I think he's coming to the line looking to improve in the McLaren. They're running well in these conditions, and he betters himself to P4. That is very impressive. And I wonder who else is out there. I know Duofin is going to start a lap soon. He's currently on an out lap, so we'll wait and see if there's anybody else who's further up the road. Waco's just starting a lap time. I wonder what Big C's doing. He's going back into the pits, and I think a lot of drivers will be going back into the pits at this stage. I wonder if Mr. Grumpy...
Warren Haig isn't one of them. He's just set another fastest lap.
Yeah, and Haig's always one driver who runs well in these conditions, doesn't he? He's known for it.
Yeah, and he's quite clearly shown that he is 5 tenths ahead of Flying Foam, who missed the race last week, I think, through an eye injury. He's now in the Force Indy. He's there in second place.
Yeah, he is, and we're just going to see where Mr. Grumpy's going to go here. One of the most legendary names on the site, and just got to appreciate his experience. He goes P6, good lap time from him. And the Cloudy Balloons, I'm not sure what car he's in.
He's in the Force India.
Oh, he's in the Force India, so pretty handy. And I want to get I want to see Duo Finn on board. Look at him, he started his lap time. Yellow flags, Fraggle Pool is out. I wonder, oh my goodness me, what's happened there? Fraggle Pool has lost his wing. Oh my god, he's lost his wheel.
He's lost more than his wing.
Oh no. In the 5th minute.
Where is that on track? I can't quite see that.
A very unusual place for Fraggle to lose his car. I knew something was going to happen to him this race. It's looking tetchy, but Joel is also out. So drivers are not finding these conditions enjoyable. So another broken wheel. Broken promise.
They seem to be pushing a bit too hard there, just trying to find extra lap time. It's not working for them.
Yeah, and Hulk. Joe Finn, he can't qualify on the hardest compound here because, you know, it's wet weather conditions, so he's got to stay in the same compound as everybody else. as the Mercedes. Oh my god, there's loads of traffic down there. That was a weird camera shot. He's going to drive to the line here. Can he put it up the grid? He's a very well capable driver. He's raced here for many seasons. He goes 11th. That's actually not a bad lap time. 1.4 seconds off pole.
No, it's a very good lap time from someone who tends to qualify down the order. Also, you're usually on a different strategy, so I'm sure he'd be happy if he manages to finish in 11th place.
Yeah, and Ugi's in here. He's going to the line. I don't know if he's just starting at that time. He is. We might as well stay on board with him because he is down there in 17th in the Toro Rosso. And Ugi Azim, he didn't race last night. He hasn't raced in the PS4 for a while, since he's been away for a week. So look at him, he's rusty. Look at that, he's absolutely sliding around, isn't he?
I wasn't quite on board with him there, but yeah, he's in that Toro Rosso, which I'm not entirely certain how that's going to fare around this circuit. But yeah, he's not helping himself there by getting all out of shape through the corners. But he's still got enough time to put another couple of laps, so yeah, just keep learning the track, and I'm sure he'll sort it out eventually.
No, hopefully he will, because for his sake, last week's winner, he will want to go on for put in a title challenge. He would want to get a title run together. And this man, Ugi Azim, he has struggled in the PSGL League as of late, but he's looking to rediscover that golden form he had on the F1 2016 game. He was unbeatable at some circuits, but some people would describe him as a bottle job. He bottled an opportunity to win the PSGL F1 title a few seasons back despite having a commanding lead, but here he is to the line. Can he improve his grid position here?
13th place. I mean, it's not great, but it's higher than what he was on, so he'll probably go for another lap here. And just keep pushing until the end of the session.
Yeah, and I know there's going to be a few people on lap times, so we might as well keep tabs on Big C and Ash Best, because I think dependent on when they cross the lap time, no, I don't think they're going to get 2 laps in, so they'll be one of the first drivers actually to complete their flying lap. So we might as well go give Big C some airtime. I know Ash Best is just a little bit further up the road, but we haven't seen much of Big C. We've interviewed him, but it'd be good to get some airtime. Didn't get any yesterday, did he, when he finished 10th in the PSGL F1 league? His yellow flags are out there somewhere.
No, he didn't. He had a very quiet race, but it wasn't a bad race by any means. He was just a bit sort of, I'd say, quiet. He didn't really get involved too much. He had a little bit of a battle with I think it was Roddy Boy and Ferrari, but other than that, it wasn't really much to see from him.
No, he's doing alright at the moment. It's a good first sector. He does seem to lock up a lot in wet weather conditions. He doesn't enjoy driving with the ABS off in these conditions, but he is having to, and fair play to him. And do you think he's been held up by Ash Best up the road? He shouldn't have started these laps so close to the back of that McLaren, but if he's using it as a reference point for confidence, it's probably doing him more good than harm, isn't it?
Well, I suppose we'll have to see what kind of lap time he does, but I can't imagine that it's particularly fun following a car like that. For the start, you won't be able to see very much because of the spray, and also you're just getting held up with the dirty air as well. So
yeah, and lap times are tumbling up. Hulk there is really getting tight, isn't it? 7/10 separating the top 10 here. Big C and Ash Best are both going to go to the line, so it'll be interesting to see who goes when. Big C really wrenching the car around there.
Yep, and that's it. The clock has finished, so this is going to be their last laps, and Ash Best goes third with 1:19.5, and Big C right behind them with another 1:19.5. Just patient with the second slow.
Yeah, and Mr. Grumpy now is the next man to cross the line here, so what can he do in that Red Bull Racing? He goes 6th, not bad, not bad.
They're all very close together, it looks like. And there was a Benoit who saw spinning off. I'm not sure whether that was Big C's PI car or whether it was natural Renault.
I know Jack Lacey's going to the line. There's someone ahead of him, but we'll stay on board with Jack Lacey as time goes by here. I don't think many more lap times are improving, but Jack Lacey here to the line. Can he put that McLaren higher up the grid here? He does. He goes 4th, but flying throne is 2nd in the Force India, I believe.
That's a very impressive time in the Force India. I mean, again, it's not really...
Sorry, Cloudy spun it.
Yep, yeah, I see that. What corner is that? I can't quite see. Oh, well, his car's still going, but he's not going to set a lap time, is he? So.
Yeah, JP Greenwood's out as well, which is a shame. So Mercedes cars in 13th and 16th in changeable conditions, but Jofin should be optimistic because he isn't too far off the pace. But sorry to interrupt you when you're talking about flying throne. It's a good lap time, isn't it?
It is. I mean, the Force India isn't known for having particularly good downforce, so you wouldn't expect it to be the strongest car in wet conditions, but he has shown a very good pace here in that car. So, not sure what the weather's like for the race, but if it's dry, or maybe if it's wet because of his pace here, you should be feeling very confident about his chances.
Yeah, and would you like to take a run through the grid order as it stands while people return to the pits here? Because it is really tight, isn't it?
It is incredibly close. I mean, you've got Warren Haig in first place with a 119.2, but only half a tenth behind is Flying Foam, the Force India. Ash Best is about 2/10 further back from that in the McLaren with a 119.5. Then Jack Lacey with the McLaren just half a tenth behind him, and Big C even closer in the Renault. All three of them on a 119.5. Wako, Common Wakar, he's in. I think it's a Haas car. He's in the 119.6 with Grumpy just behind him. AMS is in 8th place with Kurt Royce in 9th position, and Cloudy Balloons on his PSGL debut finishes qualifies in 10th position with a 119.8. McPhee qualifies in 11th position with Ugi Azim fresh off his victory last week at 120.6 in 12th position. He might be a bit disappointed there, but you were in the first of the Mercedes with another 128.6, and I can't quite see what the rest of the cars are there.
No, that's all right. And we've just been asked, who are the top 3 predictions for the race, and who do you think is going to be the first to DNF? So I'll go first. I think Haig's going to win in the Ferrari. I think Ash Best will finish second, and I think Big C third. And first to DNF, I have a funny feeling it's going to be Fraggle Paul.
That's well, he did DNF in qualifying, so I can see why you're going with that. But I certainly agree with you in terms of who's going to win. I can't see anyone beating Haig in the Ferrari. So second, Ash does look good, but I think he might struggle on the straight. So I might stick with Froome. Hope his race pace is quite strong then. In third position, it's really up for grabs. I'm not entirely certain who I can predict that. I think Ash Best might just about be able to hold on to a podium. As for who's going to be the first to DNF? Well, ideally nobody, but if they're going to pick one, I might go with the newcomer, because he's a completely unknown entity and he might struggle in race conditions for the first time.
No, it's a good shout. I mean, I do love it when people crash out. I mean, I know that sounds a bit bad, but you know, I'm praying for somebody to just spin out and go flying off the race circuit at the start, and it can happen. You know, different cars, different aerodynamic grip, very tight corner. Anything can happen here on that one. It's dry conditions as we know it so far, so it should be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if it's changing throughout the race. I'm not sure if we can find that out. Or...
Yeah, and different tyres may come into play here. Who's going to start on what compound? It'll be interesting, but the start is going to be underway here. It's Haig on the front row alongside Flying Throne with the 2 McLarens of Ash and Jack behind. It's a good start there from Haig, I think, but I think the Ferrari got away well and it defends really well. And there's contact behind between the Force India and McLaren. Oh my goodness me, that's going to cause a pile-up. Which Force India is that? It's Flying Throne who's gone down. There's debris everywhere. I'm sure somebody's lost their wing and all that. And Ash Best making a mistake there. And poor Flying Throne has to pay the price. But Ash, what happened there?
It was quite a hectic start, and there goes my prediction, flying form, and all the way back in the last position now. I didn't really know what happened. There was flying form was the very bad start from him, and I think Joe might have been caught out with that as well. He's down in 16th place, but the rest of them, they seem to have managed to avoid causing a huge pile, which you might have expected after a first corner and like that. But well done for avoiding that. It looks like flying form was the only one who's majorly affected by it.
Yeah, and it's a really big shame. I know JP's making up moves, but Big C on the medium tyres. He started on the mediums. He's under threat here from Kurt Royce. Now Big C, I reckon he's going to fight hard. He's going to try and defend this position. Both have got the same engine power down this back straight. I can't see Big C leaving the door wide open, and he shouldn't, he should cut him off, Curtis is going to go down the inside. It's an open invitation, but the 7-time champion putting up absolutely no fight there.
Yeah, he is on the medium tyres, so he's going to be very slow. He might feel like he's just on a different strategy, but yeah, again, if you're on the medium tyre, I think you want to be holding up anyone who's on the super soft tyre, ruin their races, and then you'll come into play later on as well.
And there's 4 people in the pit lane. There's Ash Best, Walker, AMS and Jack Lacey. 4 of the drivers in the PSGL F1 League making pit stops to start with. So this race could be wide open for some of the other drivers who aren't used to racing up the front against some of this top talent here this evening.
Yeah, exactly, and it's going to be interesting to see who can...
Big C! Big C's off! He's in the wall! He's lost his wheel! Oh, he's out of the race. Oh, my goodness me. Oh, I wonder if we'd be able to get an invite into the party for him. Oh, that is embarrassing.
I didn't quite catch what happened there. Looks like a spectacular accident. I'm not even sure how he's done that.
Yeah, 7-time champion. But should we just have a look at the winners and losers that lap? So McPhee has gained 8 positions off the start. Dano has gained 10 from 17th from the grid. So Joel's gained 9. So a lot of winners on the opening lap there. So Curtis up 7 as well. So yeah, interesting statistics there.
Yeah, exactly. I think as I said, McPhee is the big winner there, up 8 position as well. Curtis up in 7th, but yeah, the grid has almost been entirely reversed since the first lap. It's going to be interesting whether anyone can actually fight their way up the field.
And one man looking to fight his way up the field is Fraggle Paul, stuck behind JP Greenwood at the moment. And JP doing a great job in 8th. He'll be looking for some points. He's got the better car, he's got the better engine power down the straight, but you know, you never know what can happen. I know JP has struggled a fair bit around some of these circuits to absolutely wrench that Mercedes around, but can he actually keep Fraggle behind much longer? Because he isn't quicker than Fraggle. Fraggle's on mediums at this stage of the race, and he'd want to get past JP. He doesn't want to lose time, does he?
No, definitely not. I mean, JP will be hoping to score points after his disappointing DNF last time out in Australia, but yeah, he might struggle to keep Fraggle Paul behind if Fraggle Paul gets an opportunity. I mean, JP Greenwood just needs to keep it clean and sure he doesn't make any mistakes, and it should be quite difficult for Fraggle Paul to get close with that Renault engine.
And Joe Finn here making an attempt to make an overtake here on Fraggle. He's going to have the superior engine power, and Fraggle having to go defensive. He didn't expect to see himself in a Mercedes sandwich, did he? But after that accident, you can't really hope for much. So, and another battle that's developing further up the grid. It's Joel and Mr. Grumpy, and both on different tyre compounds. So we will keep an eye on that as this develops, but you just can't keep your eyes off Fraggle, Joe and JP Greenwood, because you just feel something could happen.
Yeah, it's not just them, because you see Flying Foam and the Force India joining at the back of them, and then the other Force India, Cloudy Balloons, who's just behind Foam as well, so we could end up with a 5-way fight over 8th place.
Yeah, it could definitely happen here, and I don't think Fraggle's got the best run out of that corner, so he's going to have to go defensive on Joe Finn, who's going to have far better horsepower down here. So here we go, Joe Finn going around the outside. Can he make a move stick here? Oh, no he can't. Fraggle shows him where to stick it, and that's good. And Joel, hang on, I don't know what's happening between Joel, I need to find him on the screen, but it is getting tight. He's made a move on Mr. Grumpy. He's made a move on Mr. Grumpy, and he's moved up to 4th.
Yeah, that's a very nice move there, on the outside turn 4, and he is on better tyres at this stage, on the soft tyres compared to Grumpy on the mediums, and that's an interesting strategy from Joel, going on the softs rather than the super soft, because it is possible to do a one soft.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Joe Finn here on Fraggle Paul, they're battling, but it is possible to do a one stop, as you said, and look at that, it's getting really tight here, isn't it, in this lower midfield. I know Joel and Mr. Grumpy are still battling, but we can't keep our eyes off this.
No, it's probably the closest battle on the field at the moment.
Yeah, and I wonder if Flying Frame will have anything to say about it.
It wasn't surprising. I mean, he's going to have DRS and the two in front of him just be focusing on each other. He could just take them both in one corner here, as he's already up the inside of Flagopole and Venor.
But there's a Force India down the inside. A flying frame. Oh my goodness, what an incredible double overtake. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's exactly what I just said. He could take both cars in one corner. That's exactly what he did. He's now up to ninth position, trying to fight his way through the field, starting on the front row.
And just behind there, I think Joe defending really.
Oh
my goodness me! Fraggle Paul is out of the race. I told you. But Big C was the first DNF, but Fraggle Paul, oh my god, that is incredible.
Yeah, both Reynolds out already. It's only lap 6.
Yeah, and there's a problem here, mate, because I think Joel is coming under threat here from Mr. Grumpy. He's definitely not conceding that position, is he, Grumps? This could be a battle for the ages. Two of the most experienced drivers at the end, and we are hearing that we will get wet conditions towards the end, but here we go. Can Mr. Grumpy make a move on Joel? Joel's got so much more straight line speed, so I think he's going to have to stay behind for another lap, and Fraggle Paul has left the session. That is disappointing, isn't it?
Yeah, that's a 10-second penalty for him next race, so...
Yeah, and we're just going to get... Sorry.
No, that's not one you want to see, because we might get slipstream glitch now and make it even more difficult to overtake, but not what you can do about it, unfortunately.
Frome and Fraggle, sorry, there's more action here. Force India progressing up the field, so Frome's really recovered, hasn't he, from that first lap incident?
Yeah.
But look at that, JP doesn't really want to concede that, and teammates are going to be going wheel to wheel. Oh no, don't go side by side through here. They're not. No.
Yep, there. Greenwood, you just lost 2 positions there in one corner, but...
Oh my goodness me, what's happened? Wacko's... Oh, he's left.
Oh. Just giving up, it looks like. It's a bit unfortunate to see, but... We're already down to just 14 runners without 3 retirements in the first 8 laps.
Yeah, it's a shame, but the race will go on. And will Mr. Grumpy's heart go on here? Because he is absolutely filled with experience, but Joel in front doing a fantastic job in the Williams, just keep that Red Bull at bay. So interesting battle. Frome's in the pits nice and early, so he'll be going for the 2 stop, we reckon.
Well, it is very early. This is already his 2nd stop of the race. What's he going on? He's changing his front wing. He's obviously made a mistake somewhere, got some damage.
That's a shame. And Ash Best recovering to 11th, I believe he also pitted on that one, and so he'll be making another stop. But I wonder if quite a few of these drivers are looking to make one stop. I think Joel will be looking to go really long way on those softs, but we know the tyre wear on those Williams is quite high, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and you'd expect anyone who's on the medium tyres to be trying for the one stop, or at least pushing as far as they can until the rain apparently comes later on. People on the soft tyres, it's a more interesting strategy. It seems to be sort of caught in 2 minds there, because if you're on a super soft tyre, you're definitely going for a 2 stop, probably. Or if you're on a soft tyre, you're sort of in between 2 of them, because I'm not entirely certain how long they last.
Yeah, and I wonder what's going to happen here, because there's a train forming behind Joel, but nobody seems to be making any movement. Dano's probably got the best powertrain package in all of this. Joel's got a pretty good powertrain, but Mr. Grumpy probably not on the best tyres at the moment to really get close enough to Joel to pose a threat. But I wonder where Big C would have been if he was still in this race. Disastrous accident for him. And we have got Remco Vengeance in the commentary, sorry, not in the commentary box, in the stream chat, so former champion in the PSGL site. It's very highly regarded driver tuning in today, so that's good to see him alongside Game Freaker as well.
Yep, and nice to see so many people getting involved with the chat here tonight, and I think we're seeing with that sort of big gaggle of cars around full that Mr. Grumpy trying to have a look at the inside of the Williams there, but yet he's going to struggle to do anything, mainly because it looks like there isn't really any slipstream, so he's going to struggle to get close enough to the Williams to make a move, but he is trying his best to try and force the Williams driver into a mistake, and that might have been one there. Oh,
lost an end plate.
Yeah, it didn't work out for him. He did force him into a mistake, but the mistake ended up benefiting him, if anything, and Grumpy now is going to have a lot less downforce on that Red Bull. Might even have to make a pit stop as
there's
the
a
Ferrari
Ferrari
just got
behind.
inside there. Yep,
Oh my god.
Yeah, but he seems to have let the troll also back through there. That's a bit of an unusual thing there. He might have made an illegal overtake and now he's being let back. That's a unusual chain of events. Didn't quite see what went wrong there in the original overtake, but the way the Ferrari is through now in the 6th position.
Yeah, and you just start to wonder, are Joel's tyres starting to go here? Are they starting to go? Because look at that, he's really struggling to keep Mr. Grumpy behind, and Grumpy's going to be absolutely furious with that end plate damage because he's running pretty well in the top 5. He hasn't had the best run of results recently. DNF in the Race of Champions, struggling in the other league. In F4, he's a quick driver, don't get me wrong, but he just feels like he's Mr. Unlucky, not Mr. Grumpy at the moment, but it's definitely making
I'm sure
grumpy.
he is Mr. Grumpy as well.
No, definitely.
Yeah, it's no, it is quite interesting that he's managing to hold on to the Williams even with that front wing damage. It's not affecting him quite as badly as I thought it would.
No, it definitely isn't. And just for all of our viewers tuning in today, if you haven't subscribed, please do click that subscribe button. We would appreciate your input. So thanks to everyone who's tuned in so far. This race will hot up. We are expecting rain in the latter stages of the race, so see what happens. And I know drivers like Wacko are quite furious. Oh my god, Joel's gone wide. Has he got a puncture, or did he just make a mistake?
No, he hasn't got a puncture. I think that was just a mistake from him. But has let the Red Bull through, and now Dano in the Ferrari, who just pushed a bit of debris away there, is up in 5th place, and sorry, up into 6th place, and right on the back of 5th place man Joel.
Joel, I believe, is the highest running driver from the PSGL F1 League at the moment. The rest of them currently sit in 10th, 11th and 14th place and 12th. Oh, there's movement. People are in the pits, so Kurtois and McPhee both pitting, which is good to see. And drivers coming in nice and early, so they'll be merging into some battles. So there will be more action on track, I believe. JP Greenwood's had a pretty decent first stint, hasn't he?
He has. He's still in the points here, and he's just going into the pits now, so he's going to draw out the points there. But yeah, if he keeps going this way, he might hang on to a point or two, which he should be delighted with. His first points of the season in the 2nd race.
And I've just been asked to pronounce something. I don't know if it's appropriate, but Frizzo is in hell Catalandira. Well, I can't answer that, mate, but there's one... I don't know.
It's all Dutch to me, I don't understand the word.
Well, there's one word I know, and it's muy tieten, but we won't go into that at this very moment. So... not much action happening. I think Ugi Zim and AMS could be getting close to each other quite soon. I know AMS in the sister Toro Rosso is on the mediums, Ugi on the soft, so we could expect some action as Joel goes into the pit lane. I wonder where he's going to merge.
Yeah, one thing is going to be very long on those super soft tyres. We did see yesterday that Cliffy went this long on the super soft tyres and ended up with a puncture, so he's being a bit risky to see out that one.
Yeah, I agree there. I just wonder where would like to Joel and Dano come back out, because they were battling Ugi, but they look like they're going to be out there in some good space. I wonder if Cloudy Balloons is going to... Oh my god! Joel has lost his wing coming out of the pits. Oh, embarrassing from one of the most experienced drivers around. Oh my goodness me. He's going to have to go in the pits again and do it all over again.
Yeah, that is the worst place to lose the front wing. The second that you just came out of the pits, you have to go on the entire lap again with the broken front wing, and you're just going to be losing time all the way. Although he doesn't seem to be doing quite as badly as I thought he would. Managing to keep it together, yeah, but I think he will have to pit. The damage will look quite extensive there. It's not just a tiny bit of exemplar. It's half of the front wing, it looks like.
I wonder if he could do 3 or 4 more laps and then just stick on a set of mediums. I wouldn't advise it, but he might be lulled into a false sense of security if he's keeping up with cloudy balloons. He might be feeling, you know what, my pace is actually pretty good here. I don't know how Joel's going to be thinking. You just don't know, do you?
So as we're about to find out, we're past the pits now. Is he in?
No, he's not.
No, he's carrying on.
And Ugi Azim and AMS, I don't know if we're going to see him close in on AMS. We have got the slipstream glitch in effect. I'm not sure if we do or not, but no, it's going to be really tough to make a pass. And Dano, he's getting sick of the sight of Ugi Azim in that Ferrari.
Yeah, and Joel, who carried on another lap with that front wing down, was going massively wide out of the centre messes there. He might have made the wrong decision.
Yeah, well, I think one of Joel's mottos is if you can't race to win, race to destroy. And will he be looking to destroy Ash Best's race? One of the hottest properties on the GL site. We have got 16 viewers tuning in, which is absolutely fantastic at this stage of the race. But so thank you to those who's tuned in. But Joel here definitely getting a lot of airtime, isn't he, Holt?
He is, and unsurprisingly, when he's in the middle of a three-way battle over 6th position here between, and Ash Best is trying to have a look up the inside here as Joel goes it off nicely, but with the DRS, Joel pits, and he's had enough of the front wing damage.
You can't blame him. He was just going to go one way and that was backwards, so a shame for him. And I think Ash Best and Cloudy Balloons could be tussling down here. Do you want to take us through this luxurious battle?
Yeah, let's see as they come out. Ooh, Cloudy Balloons weaving a bit on the straight there. It's a bit questionable behaviour, but if they come down to turn 4, Ash Best behind is going to get a bit of exit out of turn 4 up the hill. Doesn't look like it. He's going to have to hang back for another lap unless Cloudy Balloons makes a mistake. They're both on the medium tyre, I believe, so they should be going quite a distance into this race still. So Ash isn't going to get a reprieve. Have someone have a Cloudy Balloons with diving in the pit lane. He's going to have to pass him on track, it looks like. He's going to find it difficult in that McLaren to do that, obviously, with the very low top speed, especially compared to the Force India with his massively high top speed and the lack of slipstream. All he has to his benefit is some DRS, and that's not really going to aid him. But let's see if he can get a better exit onto the pit straight. He might have a bit of a chance at turn 1, maybe make a bit of a lunge if he's feeling ambitious, if he's feeling brave.
I think he is feeling it. I don't know about you. Is he going to go for it? Ooh, no, he thinks better of it. And I know just behind, Dano's made a move on Oogie, but I think Oogie's going to have a go back, and no, thinks better of it. I don't know whether to go back to Ash Best. Oh my God, look at that, an overtake there from Ugi Azim.
Yep, he did have a look back. And Dano was going to have, but didn't quite going to be able to get alongside in time for turn 4, so that was some nice driving from Ugi, who I'm not sure whether he was holding on to or taking ninth place there.
Yeah, and we did miss Ash Best and Cloudy Balloons, but I think we probably caught the better battle because these two are not giving each other an inch, are they? I know Joe Finn's up there in 4th. I don't know whether we should get an eye in from McPhee and see how he's going against Joe Finn. These two are some of the most veteran drivers on the PSGL site. I mean, Joe deserves some airtime. Don't peel off into the pits. He doesn't. He listens to me. And look at that, McPhee's got a run here, hasn't he? Holt? Look at that. A lot of top line speed. He might as well have a go down the inside. No, Joe defends the inside. This will give him a good run for the next corner. Looking at gets a slingshot or corner cut in the process probably, but not enough speed, I don't think, to challenge down here.
Well, Williams does have good top end speed with the DRS open. Is he going to be able to have a look up the inside? He thought about it, just showing his face there, but Joe-Finn wasn't tempted into making a mistake there. Both tyres are ancient of Joe-Finn's now. He's been on them since the very beginning. They're 17 laps old. And that is why he's up in the 4th place. McPhee had a little look down the inside. He's having another look down the inside here. He's ran wide a bit, which means Joe-Finn is going to get switched back around the outside, hanging it round here, and yeah, in the end, McPhee manages to get past them. A nice piece of clean battling between, as you said, two of the most experienced drivers on the PSGL side.
And that was one hell of a scrap. I just wonder, will Joe Finn have some drive to come back at McPhee? Because look at this, he's actually got some good traction out of that corner. I think Matt V's probably just going to pull away here. I know Dano and Oogie are battling. I'm going to go to them. And Oogie just lost ground. And oh, there's a Force India and AMS battling as well up the road. We'll stay with this one here. Cloudy Balloons and AMS. AMS last season runner up here. Can he make a move? And Cloudy Balloons, who peels off into the pit lane, it was probably time for him to go in anyway, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's going backwards, and it looks like he might have some front wing damage as well. So, probably not surprising that it was so slow there, and yes, he is indeed having a front wing change.
Yeah, and we're going to ride on board with Oogie and Dano because it just seems like the battle we want to watch. Although Grumpy
If I
and
could make a suggestion, yeah, I was just about to say the two Red Bulls seem to be going at it.
And Mr. Grumpy and Joe Finn are the drivers yet to make a pit stop, so you just wonder how long is Grumpy actually going to go into this race? Is he waiting for the rain?
Well, we don't know when the rain is going to come, but Grumpy probably has a better idea. Maybe he's just holding out until he can go onto the super soft tyres. I suppose we're going to have to wait and find out, but either way he's up in the second position. Although Kurt Rush is looking to take that off him here down the inside, turn 1. And it looks like he's done that, and yep, completely ahead. Not a lot Mr. Quinton could do on those rather warm medium tyres by this point. He's just looking to hold on to his holding position now.
Yeah, that was a good pass from Curtis. He was quite brave to try and stick it down the inside and say that's where I was going to go. And if I was Grumpy, I probably would have been a bit more nasty and just completely shut him off. But it's a good pass there. Mr. Grumpy showing all his experience wrenching the car around the circuit. And the clouds have changed colour, so don't be surprised if we do see rain anytime soon. And there isn't much else going on the circuit. I think Dano and AMS are going to battle relatively soon, so probably best to tune into that one. So they're going to take us through this battle here. AMS and Dano. Obviously AMS stretching his sprint stint out longer. Dano as well, also on the medium, so they'll be well placed for the rain, won't they?
Well, according to me, Dano's on the super softs. So
yeah, it says he's on the super softs, but we'll agree with the Delta because the Delta's often right about those medium tyres. So apologies for the weird click. I don't know how it works, but
we'll go with the medium. That's what we'll say he's on. So yep, he's on the Ferrari. He's on the Ferrari there. Should have a fairly decent pace advantage over the Toro Rosso, especially on the straights. But AMS is quite tough to get past. He's a good defensive driver. He won't be making it easy for Dano, but you're hoping to hold on to those 4 points he'll be getting for the 7th position. And yeah, Dano isn't quite close enough to make a move at this point. Neither is the Force India there behind, flying form behind Uwe either. So yeah, this battle is still the closest one we have on track. Dano is still just 2 tenths behind AMS in the Toro Rosso. You can have a look at the inside here, and yes, he is, and there's contact between the two. It doesn't seem to have affected either of them too much, and now he's going to try and have a look on the outside here as McPhee tried to do the other lap, and he pulled it off, and now he's going to look down the inside of this corner, and in the end he's might have to wait until the pit straight, but again he's just trying to go side by side through the entire lap, and looks what they've done. And you can have the LS now, it's probably the best opportunity he's had all lap.
And I reckon there could be a collision if they get up close and personal. Actually, AMS will not like that one bit of driver sending down the inside around some dodgy corners. But here we go, Dano versus AMS. What's going to happen here? Dano goes around the outside, AMS tries to brake later. I think he might just let that one go, but will he get the switch back on the Ferrari? He's got better drive out of the corner, but Dano's going to have the horsepower to pull away from this one. But AMS will have advantage of the DRS as there's a battle between the Force India and the Toro Rosso behind, so I think AMS has had to give up the ghost. But Uwe Azim and Flying Friend really getting close, aren't they?
Yeah, as soon as one battle ends, another begins, and this is the next one now. We have another Toro Rosso and a Force India. Flying Corn obviously started in second position, had a bit of an incident at lap 1, which forced him to pit, put them right down the end of the field. Had to make another pit stop relatively early on in the race, doing something again. So he'll be happy if he scores any points today, considering the calamitous race he's had. But looking to overtake Uzi at some point through the lap here, and obviously EMS is just ahead of him now in the other drive also, so if we can overtake both of them, he'll be looking rather decent point for at that point.
Yeah, and I just wonder, is Ugi going to have to drive, because AMS seems to have more top line speed, and he's also got the advantage of the DRS, so Ugi won't like that one bit. And I know Jack Lacey and Joel has spun! Joel has spun! Oh, it's a miserable race for the Williams driver. Oh, how disappointing. How disappointing. I can't see him making it. Oh my god, he's lost his wing. Oh, it's just an absolute calamity. Oh my god, he's been lapped by Warren Haig, his old enemy, his old foe. And it's just sad to see, isn't it? Look at this, Giuliano, man, with a broken wing, he's continuing. I just feel like something's going to happen. We'll keep an eye off the battles, but look at this man, I don't know what he's going to do here. He's running in 14th. Will he do something? Look at that, a broken wing. He refused to pit. I just wonder what's going to happen.
Yeah, it was unfortunate there. Looks like just he'd overheated those tyres off the spin and then couldn't make it round the next corner. Broke the front wing again. So yeah, I don't know what he's doing staying out there. I'd have pitted if I was him, but at least carrying on. So it's interesting to see. Hopefully, he can keep it out of the barriers for the rest of the race. But
the one-stoppers have pitted, Mr. Grumpy and Jurgen both in the pits. I wonder if they're going to emerge in front of this pair here, Ugi Azim and Flying Frame. I think probably not. They're going to come out behind them. Oh, JP Greenwood's out. He's out. Oh, see you later, son.
I'm not certain what happened there. It doesn't look like he's got any damage. He doesn't have any damage, so he's just retired.
And the Force India, Flying Frame and Ugi Azim now. So JP sad enters the race, but it's really hotting up here between three of these drivers. And we did miss Mr. Grumpy's puncher, sadly. He did start those mediums a lap too long, sadly. And oh, Flying Frame's lost his end plate, and yeah, that's a shame. Grumpy losing a lot of time and all that. So unlucky, isn't he? Trying to stretch his stint out.
Yeah, but he had to change his front wing again because he got front wing damage early on in the race. So very long pit stop combined with the puncture, it's put him down in 10th position. He was looking quite good early on in the race, but on the super soft tyres he should be quite quick now for the last portion of the race. Although, as I mentioned earlier, the rain could be coming down any moment now with the clouds starting to get a bit darker here.
I think it is raining, Hulk. I think it is raining. I can see some spots on the screen here. Yes, you can see some on Ugi Azim's T-cam. It is starting to spit it down, and you know what? This is bad for both the Toro Rosso drivers because one of them could end up queuing behind the other.
Yeah, it's not really what you want, is it? I mean, yeah, you'll be losing a good maybe 5-6 seconds stuck behind his teammates, maybe even longer than that. So yeah, it's not really what you want. People will be fighting to get ahead of each other in the pit lane.
Yeah, and Jack Lacey has gone in relatively early for the intermediate tyres, so I mean he's got nothing to lose outside the points. He might as well give it a go, but
yeah, no, I think that's far too early. He almost crashed into the barrier on his way out.
Yeah, that's a bad decision for poor Jack, and Joel will take that 12th position in open hands there. But AMS, he's really starting to queue it up here now, and I just wonder who's going to be the bravest driver in these tricky conditions, because traction is going to be so hard out of corners, and especially on those medium tyres.
Yep, and those medium tyres looking a bit worn on AMS's car. Might just be me, but rather worn to my eye, so might explain why he's so slow.
Yeah, and we haven't talked much about the top five as it stands. It's Haig from Curtois, McPhee in third, and a good recovery from Ash Best. He's up into fourth, Dano in fifth, and obviously this battle we're watching at the moment, the two Toro Rossos, AMS Ugi and Flying Frame, just keeping an eye on the affairs behind them. You know what, Joefin, on those super softs, he isn't too far behind. And Mr. Grumpy's going to recover as well from that earlier puncture. He's not
exactly, isn't it? Yeah, there should be some of the quickest cars on the track on those super soft tyres at this stage. Obviously hoping to catch up to this, how many cars is it now? 1, 2, those three cars overhead there, and if you walk in, you can just see him on the back of Flying Phone's car, just looming in the distance, catching up on those super soft tyres.
Yeah, and unfortunately, boy with no face, our pit lane reporter was taken ill today and was unable to join us for the session. But AMS and Oogie, it's getting heated, and you know what? Other cars are going to be joining, and you can easily drop it in these conditions, can't you, Holt? And Oogie is even trying his best not to. Take us through this.
Yeah, AMS is gonna. He doesn't want to let that track position go because it's gonna be imperative down the pits, but. Oogie looked around the outside there, and it's forced AMS out wide. He's going to have a look at the inside, and AMS has gone off the track because he's going to lose. What? Yes, he's lost 2 positions there. He's all the way down in 9th position, and Oogie's got through, got that crucial track position for the Toro Rosso team. That they will be making pit stops onto the intermediate tyres momentarily in a few laps, maybe.
And we just got to say people are coming in for intermediate conditions. Yellow flags out everywhere, and Joe Finn is up to 8th, and he really is. Look at that, up and close, personal with Flying Frames, really enjoying these conditions here, isn't he?
Yeah, it does look to be, although you don't want to be on that curve. That curve will spin you out if you stay on it for too long, and he has dropped the position to Grumpy because of that, so it's a bit unfortunate. But yes, he does look rather quick when he's not making mistakes on those tyres.
Is it time to pit Vinters? Is it time? No, people opt against it. Everybody's opting against it. Curtois, one of the first people to go into it. It'd be good to maybe look at his progress in a second, but we just got to keep our eyes on Grumpy and Joe at this very given time. In fact, you know what? We'll go on board with Curtois on those inters, and Ash Best making quick work of him. So the tyres will come back to Curtois. It is a little bit early, and we just missed Grumpy making a move there on Flying Frame. So up into 7th, and he is at a charging ball. Next up the road is Oogie, and then Dano will be next up. So I think Grumpy can still recover to a respectable position, can't he?
Yeah, it's still very much possible. He could. I think 5th place might be a little bit beyond him, maybe about 5 seconds behind that. Although maybe on if those super soft tyres allow it to keep going and the rain doesn't come down too hard, you might even be able to make up that position. But yep, his next sort of rival is Ugi Azim, last week's race winner. He's going to have a dive up the inside into the penultimate quarter. Yes, he is. Ugi Azim pushed out wide a little bit there.
Just behind, we just caught it on camera. We had a great overtake there from Joe Finn on Flying Frames, moving now further position. Surely it could be time for him to soon, but Ash has pulled away from Curtois. Dano's overtaken Curtois as well, so it might be a tad too early. So drivers opting against the intermediate, so Curtois may have got this wrong. Cloudy Balloons is in. Grumpy picks up a 3-second time penalty, but you know what? If he can pass Oogie Azim and pull away, it might not matter in the longer scheme of things, but a really cheap penalty to pick up there for one of the most experienced drivers on the grid. But what an overtake!
Yep, Mr. Company now up in the 6th position, and next up is Curtois on those intermediate tyres, and it looks like he's gone at least 2 laps too early, so I can't imagine Mr. Company having much trouble with him.
Yeah, they nearly made contact when they made overtakes earlier, and look at this Grumpy, will not get this move done. Oh, he could have easily chipped an end plate off, and look at that Curtois, poor Curtois on those inters a bit too early, but he could still recover to a podium because he isn't out of this race completely. He just needs it to really rain soon, and now it's really queuing up Oogie. Oh my god, what a move from Joe Finn! Oh, is there contact behind Oogie Azim? Oh, taken out wide, but look at that, Curtois, oh no. Losing ground left, right and centre, and it's Flying Frame versus Oogie Azim. Now drivers are thinking about pitting. I think it's probably a bit too early. Flying Frame's in. I don't know, I mean, it's looking tricky, and Curtois here will be our reference point.
Now, Ash Best has also came in for a set of intermediate tyres. As has Flying Foam, it looks like. McPhee, so yeah, there's a host of drivers in already. It's just Owen Haig, Dano, and anyone who's on the soft or super soft tyres. Anyone on the mediums is pitted, and the rest of them are staying out, hoping that they can use their superior tyres to build a bit of a gap before they have to pit the intermediates.
And there are yellow flags out there somewhere. I don't know where they were, but they were there somewhere. And we just got to see the lap times here, because Ugizine, if so long as he pulls away from Kurtos, he will know it's not time yet. As soon as Kurtos starts to eat into that gap, he will pit. And Joel's gone in now for the Inter, so I don't know if it's too early, but Ugizine pulling away from Kurtos, and those drivers are staying out there are really brave, aren't they?
Yep, I mean, it's going to get more difficult lap after lap on those tyres, but for the moment it definitely seems to be the way to go, to stay on those dry tyres. And it's allowed Mr. Grumpy, even despite his changing his front wing and the puncture he had, he's already back in the podium position.
Yeah, and Ugizine's now gone in for Inters. I just feel it's too early. I just feel it is too early. Because he's pulling away from Kurtos, but maybe he's risking a puncture, I think, staying out too long with those.
Yeah, that is true. Maybe he didn't get the strategy quite right with the rain, and he was on the tyres a bit too long. But I mean, we are approaching, I think, the crossover point, but we're still not quite there. And the dry tyres are still the fastest tyre to be on.
Yeah, and I think drivers like Joe and Grumpy will be hoping, please don't get wet. Please don't get wet, because they could pull a pit stop over these guys, but I just feel like time's going to run out. And Kurtos is all over this shot here, isn't he?
He is. He's already 12.2 seconds behind Duo Finn. So if he keeps going like this, he will drop a pit stop. And the thing is, I'm not entirely certain if the immediate tyres are that slow, or whether it's just Kurtos can't get the grips to them with them yet.
And McPhee, they don't look like they're enjoying these conditions. It just looks like they're overheating the rears, but I mean, it's tight to the crossover point, but it's definitely not this lap, because, you know, Duofin and Grumpy, as long as they can drive in these conditions, they are going to stay out there, and I don't think any of them are going to pit anytime soon. So it's just exciting stuff here, how strategies can work against you. And Ash Fester, he'll want to make a move on McPhee. If he can get this move done, he's got half a shot of a podium, depending on when it dries up. But he's hopeless.
You know, you say that, but he's solid 14.2 seconds. Kurtos is solid 14.3 seconds behind Duofin, so he might struggle to get that podium. But either way, I think what he came into the wet. No, he's going for another set of dry tyres on the super softs here. I mean, not that it matters, because he had a 50-odd seconds lead, but you know, it's interesting that even he's not going on with the intermediate tyres.
Yeah, he's not getting any faith from him. And Kurtos and McPhee examples here. A lot of drivers have probably been a little bit, you know, haven't been brave enough. They've gone for the safe choice, and it's working against them. And you know, this is extraordinary, because the track normally wettens up. It doesn't usually take this long for it to really settle in, and it's really intriguing to see, isn't it, Holt?
It is. I expected them to be on intermediate tyres by now, but the dry tyres still seem to be the quickest ones out there. The rain
and
must
Ash
be
Best on
incredibly light.
McPhee. He's made the pass, but back to your point, Holt.
Yeah, the rain must be incredibly light. If you see Kurtos going off the track there on those intermediate tyres, I mean, he went so early on them that they must be screaming out, overheating. They must have worn out by a fair margin already.
Oh my God! Oh, he can barely keep it on the track, but wow, he got away with that, didn't he?
Yeah, McPhee's in. Is he going to go back onto dry tyres?
Oh, Joel's out. Joel's out of the race. There's no surprises. Oh, it's a shame, isn't it? But it's a really good cushion of a gap for drivers like Joe Finn and Ash Best to have. And oh my God, Ash Best, can he make a move on Kurtos?
Yeah, just like when McPhee just went back onto the super soft tyres from the intermediates. So he obviously feels that it's never going to get wet enough for the intermediates to work.
Yeah, and you know what? There's only 3 laps to go here, so if it does get wet enough, the drivers in front may have to pit, or are they going to stay out and brave it? I just don't know what's happening with conditions, because it's not settling in. And Grumpy now is all over the back of Dano as well, who's out there on the medium tyres. So I don't know if we should take a look at this. Red Bull versus Ferrari. It's not time yet. It's not time yet. That's what both of them are saying. It's a great drive from Grumpy despite the puncture. If he can recover to finish second, he'll take it. But is he going to play it safe and just stick with the podium here?
Well, no, I think he feels that he's a lot quicker than Dano at this stage of the race, and Dano seems to be struggling with the conditions and the tyres, so I think he will be looking to get into second position, Grumpy. Although I have to point out that Dano has had a very good race. He's made up 15 positions from the starting grid slot.
And
in
Ash
second
Best,
place.
that's really good. Ash Best now on Curtois. I think they're getting really close to each other. And DRS is disabled, so that's always a telling sign. As Grumpy has made a move up the grid order on Dano. And he'll be happy with that. But Ash Best and Curtois here. Look at this. Down the straight here. Conditions are getting worse. It's time for Inters, surely. And will we see the likes of Mr. Grumpy in the pits? Because there'd be brave men for trying to hang it out there for 3 more laps.
Yeah, it's time for Indus, but is there really any point going on to intermediate tyres at this point if you're Mr. Grumpy or Dano or Joe? You might as well.
You'd spin out, Hulk. When conditions change, you've got to get on those right tyres because that time's going to come down and
there's only 3 laps remaining though, and you're going to drop 18 seconds in 3 laps.
I think you can easily drop about 20 in 1 lap if you're on those wrong tyres, and Grumpy here decided not to take any chances into the pits, and McPhee, who's got his strategy call wrong, he's lost his will. He should have stayed on those inters. You don't go back, and he did. But Ash Best ahead of Curtois now, so that's good for him. And it'll be interesting to see where Grumpy emerges. This is going to be really tight now between Ash Best and Mr. Grumpy. I think Grumps has got this covered while the yellow flag's around in sector 2.
Yeah, it does look like he's going to come out in 4th position. He's a full 4.5 seconds behind Joe, and he's in a podium spot at the moment. And Dano looks to be... What's going on there?
Oh my God, Curtois is out! He's out, he's lost his wheel. No, he hasn't lost his wing. Oh, that's horrendous. That is horrendous. And Dano and Joe are tussling. Sorry, it's really getting heated. I don't know what's happening here. There's 3 cars going for it. It's Dano and Joe Finn. Oh, and that Force India, I think, of cloudy balloons are flying through, just trying to make a move as well. So it's cloudy balloons. It's really heating up, isn't it?
Yep, but there was a bit of an incident that I saw where Dano was going really slowly and allowed Joe Finn to end up in 2nd position at one point. He's now back down to 3rd. And Kai Balloons, who is getting lapped but seems to be quicker than Dano at the moment, so...
After pit, I think all 3 of them are going to come to the pits, but I feel like we could see something nasty happening here. If any of them lose traction, look at that. Joe Finn opts to stay out. He's a brave man. 2 laps to go. And we've only got 9 runners left in this incredible race. But I just don't think Joe's going to keep it on the track for much longer. Or Dano. I know there's a lap to go, but they're just going to be swallowed up. They're going to be swallowed up, aren't they?
No, I think they're going for glory. They're hoping to keep on to the podium. I mean, there's just 2 laps remaining.
2 laps to go, but 2 laps in these conditions on dry tyres. Absolute agony. Absolute agony. And Mr. Grumpy only 1.9 seconds behind the pair of these. So Mr. Grumpy, he's got a 3-second time penalty. He'll want to get these moves. Oh, Joe Finn's off. Joe Finn's off. He can't hack it. And Grumpy's made the move now. And, you just got to feel for drivers like Dano here. And if there's one word I'd say to Grumpy is push. Push your bloody laugh out. And Haig has started the final lap. So we'll try and get him on board here. And Ash Best moves up as well. So, and penalties will sort themselves out. But Mr. Grumpy should get a podium, shouldn't he? From where he is.
Yeah, definitely at this point. I mean, I don't know if Ash Best has any penalties. I know Mr. Grumpy has at least 1. But if he can swift the advantage out of 3 seconds, that shouldn't matter.
Yeah, and I just feel for the likes of Joe running in the podium position. Dreams could come true, but they definitely won't. But for one person whose dreams will come true, it's Warren Haig. He's driven extraordinarily well today, hasn't he? It's been a great drive, fantastic drive from Haig. He's done it all. Oogie Yazine here. Can he make a move on Joe Finn? He should do. His yellow flag somewhere up the road. We'll ignore those. And look at that, Joe Finn cannot even slow the car down. He's off. See you later, son.
Yeah, he is going to pick up points, but not the podium that he might have been dreaming of a couple of laps ago.
No, and here we go. Warren Haig. He's driven impeccably from lap 1, and he's going to win here. Look at it. He's enjoying his moment. He's letting someone unlap themselves. That's what you call generosity, and he's taking his time. He's absolutely soaking up the moment here. Just hope nobody runs into the back of him. So a lot of drivers given another opportunity to do another lap, but it's Warren Haig who wins in Brazil. Extraordinary drive here Ugi Azim and Dano. Oh, they're absolutely fighting, but nothing Dano can do. And I know Joe Finn behind has lost a position to flying frame, so dreams are not coming true. But they will come true for the most experienced driver on the grid. Mr. Grumpy is going to get a podium here. I don't know where he's going to classify, but it is a podium. And beautiful as he alight. And Ash Best will take second because he's had less penalties. So Mr. Grumpy has a 6-second time penalty there. And sorry, Dano, we need to get on board with him. He's losing a position there. He can't keep
I think he's stuck on the dry tyres. He was running up in second position at one point. He's lost all that time, down in 6th place now. He got promoted to 5th on penalty draw and now back down to 5th of Duo Finn's lack of penalty. So Duo Finn finished in rather respectable 5th place in the end there. So might not have been the podium he was hoping for at one stage, but I'm sure he'd have taken that at the start of the race.
And what a great drive from Joe Finn to finish 5th. But a really nice podium here today. And it's good to see the drivers who were able to continue in these tricky conditions and finish the race. And what a result for Joe Finn. Definitely one of my drivers of the day, along with Mr. Grumpy. But AMS here taking a disappointment. Would have expected more. Finishes 30 seconds off flying frame.
Yep, and it's a very impressive recovery drive from Ash Best there. He was one of the drivers who had a pit on the first lap after the incident between flying from Ash Best and EMS. And he managed to work his way up, all the way up, getting back up to second position in the end, so very impressive from him.
Yeah, and this man's getting his TV time, isn't he? Cloudy Balloons. I don't know if this is his debut in this league, but look at him, he's soaking it up, getting the camera time he wants, making himself announced to the world of PSGL, and he doesn't want to DNF. He finishes in a respectable 9th place, points for Force India.
Yeah, it's always nice to get points in your debut. That's what you want. Get on the scoreboard as soon as you possibly can, and he's managed that today.
Oh, it's really well. And subscribe if you haven't. We're going to repeat it again. Subscribe if you haven't. And on the podium, Warren Haig, alongside Ash Best and Mr. Grumpy. A nice podium there. A McLaren, a Red Bull, and a Ferrari.
Yep, it was a very interesting race. You had battles every single time one ended, another began, and then the rain at the end really spiced things up as well. People tried to stick out on those dry tyres as long as possible.
Yeah, and a few Lee Catamol tackles going in as well. But it was Warren Haig, your winner, ahead of Ash Best on the podium. Mr. Grumpy in 3rd. Ugi Azim finishes a decent 4th place from 12th on the grids. Duofin from 13th finishes 5th. One of the drivers of the day. Dano in 6th. Frome in 7th. AMS 8th. And Cloudy Balloons, the last classified finisher, in 9th. And we had so many DNFs that we've even forgot who was on the grid. But Big C binning it on the opening lap, and Jolian and Manu crashing out as well. Jack Lacey and Wacko failing to make the finish. So a lot of these F1 drivers just haven't got the bite. So it'd be good to get some words now with some of the drivers.
Yeah. I do have to wonder, would Kurt Royce be classified because he did complete 90% of the race? Would end up in 10th. I mean, it was a bit dodgy that. I mean, I know it's technically in the rules, but sometimes it's not enforced. But arguably, he should have at least a point off this race.
No, he should. And I'm just gonna send some party suggestions. So do bear me one moment. So hopefully we'll get to speak to those drivers who finished reasonably well here today. It'd be good to get a few words from the likes of Ash Best and Mr. Grumpy. Haig unfortunately doesn't have a mic. It would be nice to get a word from him, but we'll probably have to pass up on that offer, sadly. And we'll see if we can get a word from JP Greenwood if possible, if he's still around. It might be good to get a few words in. So we'll see who joins. But Hulk, it was quite a tantalising race there, especially towards the end. Some good battles, and FP really showcases how drivers from different leagues, different pace levels can combine together and actually put up a great show racing.
Yeah, but it really shows off people's racing abilities, not just them outright speed. And I think that's very important to show that even those who might not have the ultimate one-lap pace can still go wheel to wheel with some of the best and show off the talent.
Yeah, and should we start by just speaking to a couple of our podium finishers tonight? Hulk, have you got any questions for second place man Ash Best in the McLaren?
Yeah, mainly about the start of the race. It looked like it was race over for you as you seemed to had to make a pit stop on lap 1. What was your thought at that time?
Yeah, well, I had a pretty decent start. From really had a bad start. I went up the inside. From broke early. I stuck up the inside. He just turned in. I'm not going to report him for that, but yeah, it was an unavoidable incident. Well, avoidable incident, but I couldn't do anything about that. So yeah, I was a bit frustrated. I had to brake to avoid him when he spun. Got hit from behind, got wing damage, and I just decided I was going to lose more staying out. So just pit in, and yeah, got the fresh air, got the massive undercut on some people. So I mean, it worked out in the end, which is the important thing.
Well, that's good. Well, in your second place, and now we've got to go to one of our drivers of the day, alongside Joe Finn. It's Mr. Grumpy, one of the most experienced drivers. I can't get tired of saying that enough. One of the most experienced drivers. I'm going to say it again. Drove absolutely fantastically well to finish on the podium, despite a puncture that we didn't catch on camera. But he did stay out long on those mediums. But boy, what a drive! What experience you showed under those changeable conditions to stay out on those dry tyres and switch at the right time. An absolute fantastic podium. You've had horrendous form over the past couple of races, but this must be something you're absolutely cherishing up against some top quality drivers.
Yeah, just a crazy race. I was not expecting the podium after that puncture, but I'll take it. Sorry. Yeah, I started on mediums because I was just waiting for the rain, but then when it got to lap 20 and my tyres were on 70% I knew a puncture was coming. But yeah, just crazy end to the race.
And Hulk, you got any questions for Grumps?
So it didn't look like we'd ever need the intermediate tyres at one stage. I think it was about 4 laps to go, and it still looked like the dry tyres were faster. So, what was your thoughts on how the weather affected the race?
Well, yeah, I thought it was going to stay dry enough for the supers until the end, but then it just suddenly changed on like that. Because they were going quicker than I thought. If it was going to stay dry and not wet enough, then I'd get another puncture. But luckily the rain got wet enough. I jumped straight in.
It was a great podium, Grump, so thanks for those comments. And now we're just going to move on to fourth place man, Oogie Azim quickly. You had a lot of tussles out there with Dano, with AMS, even Mr. Grumpy, Duo Finn. You was just having an absolute scrap out there. Just sum up your emotions to finish fourth.
Quite happy with fourth, I think. After all that, well, it was a busy race from start to finish. I think the start, I was lucky to just keep my nose clean, and I think I got it to P6 or P7. And I think Joel had a bit of a moment into turn 1, and that was around lap 12, lap 8, and that gave me me and Grumpy wing damage, and had to grinded it out on the softs, and then I think, who was it? Like, they were about 65-66%, so I thought maybe it's time for inters, but I think it was 2 laps too early. But happy with fourth after all the people staying out on the slicks and just taking them at the end.
Fair enough. Is there anybody else in the party chat? Or have we covered
JP's here.
JP?
Howdy.
JP Greenwood, you were absolutely flying out there at some points, especially at the start of the race. But the race kind of fizzled out then. He had some terrific scraps there. I can't remember who with, but it might have been, I don't know, but you were having a scrap with someone for a while. And that was quite entertaining.
I had an amazing start, just trying to fed my way through the all the turmoil that was happening in front of me. Did get a slight damaged wing, but it wasn't enough for me to pit. And so I think I got into P8 at the initial first stint. And then towards the end of that stint, the tires started going off, and I couldn't really keep my position. Lost a couple of places, and when I made my pit stop, I came out last place behind Jack Lacey. And the last time I raced in Brazil was I was back with Jack tyres. So people called Jack just hold me up all the time in this league, it seems. It cost me a lot of time. And then towards the end of that stint as well, I just couldn't make the most of my tyre life. I was struggling on the last lap. I had a collision with cloudy balloons, and that damaged my wing terribly. So I just had to give up at that point. So as far as DNFs are concerned, that's another notch on the bedpost.
And how does it feel to see Joe Finn in equal machinery finishing P5 in fifth position?
Do you know what? It's really, really frustrating because last season in the races we both competed in, I had qualified in probably 90% of the time, if not more. But yet his points tally at the end of the season was obviously far superior to mine. So it's really frustrating. I think I've got the speed on him, but he's just got the better racecraft. I can't believe actually he got past me on the when he's on the softs and I was on the super softs. I was really surprised about that. So I've got more work to do, obviously.
Yeah, well, hopefully everything will go better for you your next race. Just before we do head off, Hulk, do you have any questions for anybody else here tonight?
No, I think we've covered everything.
Yeah, well, we have. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Thanks to all the drivers racing today. It was a great show. Thanks to Hulkenberger for also joining me again for commentary. So do follow him on Twitter at Hulkenberger_F1 if you haven't done so already. We'll be back next time out in Bahrain. So see you then.